For over a decade, the American landscape was free from the most violent tornadoes, EF5s. These rare storms, with winds exceeding 200 miles per hour, had become almost a legend, a distant memory in the minds of many who lived through their terror. That changed this past summer, when the skies darkened and the atmosphere shifted in ways that meteorologists had long warned could happen again. On June 20, 2025, a monstrous storm tore through North Dakota's farmlands, shattering the longest EF5 drought in recorded history. The tornado's path was unmistakable, wide, violent, and utterly devastating. The National Weather Service confirmed its EF5 status only this week, sending shockwaves through the meteorological community. Experts pored over the data, reviewing damage surveys and wind speed estimates to be certain. The tornado near Enderlin wasn't just another storm. It ended 12 years of uneasy calm. Fields that once promised a bountiful harvest were left in ruins, and entire communities were changed in a matter of minutes. Many had grown complacent, but this event is a stark reminder that nature's extremes are always possible. The sense of security that had settled over the region was shattered in a single afternoon. The storm claimed 3 lives and left a permanent scar on Ransom and Cass counties. Families mourned, and emergency crews worked tirelessly to help survivors and restore some sense of normalcy. For scientists, it's a crucial data point. Each EF5 provides rare insight into the upper limits of tornado power, helping researchers refine their understanding and improve future warnings. For residents, it's a nightmare made real. The trauma and loss will linger long after the debris is cleared, as communities come together to rebuild and heal. The last EF5 struck Moore, Oklahoma, in 2013. That storm, too, left a legacy of destruction and resilience. For over 12 years, the nation was spared this level of devastation. Many hoped the era of EF5s was over, but nature had other plans. Now, the count of these rare storms stands at 60 since 1950. Each one is a stark reminder of the power and unpredictability of our planet's weather. The Enderlin tornado will be studied for years, its legacy etched in both the land and the science of severe weather. Researchers will analyze every detail, hoping to unlock new ways to protect lives in the future. This event closes a chapter in weather history and forces us to respect the power of the skies. It's a sobering lesson in humility and preparedness. The silence is over, the EF5 has returned, and with it, a renewed awareness of the forces that shape our world. An EF5 tornado is the peak of tornadic power, nature's most violent wind. The Enhanced Fujita Scale rates tornadoes by the destruction they cause, and EF5 is reserved for the most catastrophic damage. With winds over 200 miles per hour, an EF5 can obliterate well-built homes, scour pavement, and hurl debris like missiles. The Enderlin tornado's winds exceeded 210 miles per hour, a force that leaves nothing but bare earth behind. Size doesn't always equal strength. Even smaller tornadoes can be EF5s if the damage is extreme. The EF5 rating is only given after experts meticulously examine the wreckage for undeniable evidence of such power. Survivors describe the experience as apocalyptic, a deafening roar, unnatural skies, and a landscape forever changed. The confirmation of an EF5 means investigators found proof of the most extreme destruction possible. These storms are rare, but their impact is unforgettable. The Enhanced Fujita Scale, or EF scale, is the standard tool meteorologists use to classify tornadoes, not by measuring wind speed directly, but by carefully analyzing the damage left behind. Instead of relying on instruments that can be destroyed in a storm, experts look at the aftermath to estimate the tornado's true power. The scale ranges from EF0, the weakest, to EF5, the most catastrophic. Each step up the scale represents a dramatic leap in destructive force, with damage increasing exponentially. An EF0 tornado might only snap a few branches or cause light roof damage, but an EF3 can rip entire stories off well-built homes, leaving neighborhoods unrecognizable. At the top, an EF5 tornado is so violent it can sweep sturdy buildings completely from their foundations, leaving only bare earth behind. The updated EF scale, adopted in 2007, brought a new level of detail. It uses dozens of specific damage indicators and degrees of destruction to make ratings more accurate and fair. Survey teams meticulously examine everything from barns and schools to shopping malls and office buildings, taking into account how well each structure was built. A poorly constructed building might collapse in lower winds, so the scale adjusts for construction quality, focusing on the true force needed to cause the observed destruction. This rigorous process can take days or even weeks as surveyors revisit sites, gather evidence, and consult with engineers, just as they did with the Enderlin tornado's eventual upgrade. That's why tornado ratings sometimes change after further investigation. Accuracy is more important than speed. Ultimately, it's this meticulous, science-driven approach that revealed the Enderlin tornado's true, terrifying strength, ensuring the record reflects reality. The EF scale isn't just about numbers or statistics. It's about understanding the real human impact of these storms on families and communities. Each EF5 tornado stands as a rare, sobering benchmark in meteorological history, a reminder of nature's most extreme fury. On June 20, 2025, a supercell thunderstorm spawned a tornado near Enderlin, North Dakota. For nearly 20 minutes, it carved a 12-mile path, reaching over a mile wide at its peak. With winds topping 210 miles per hour, it obliterated everything in its way: homes, trees, and even the ground itself. Entire farmsteads vanished, debris scattered for miles, and mature trees were reduced to splinters. The tornado's raw power left a scar visible from the air, a brutal reminder of nature's might. 3 lives were lost, a tragedy in this rural region. Had it struck a city, the toll could have been far worse. The Enderlin tornado's journey was brief but devastating, forever altering the landscape and its people. Its story is now part of North Dakota's and America's weather legacy. Initial surveys rated the Enderlin tornado as an EF3, but some damage hinted at even greater force. Meteorologists and engineers on the ground quickly realized that the destruction was more severe than what is typically seen with an EF3 tornado. The scale of the devastation prompted a deeper investigation, as experts began to question whether the initial rating truly reflected the storm's power. Investigators found a freight train struck by the tornado, an empty steel tanker tossed nearly 500 feet, loaded grain cars overturned. The sheer force required to move such massive objects is extraordinary, far beyond what most tornadoes can achieve. This evidence alone suggested the tornado's winds were far stronger than first believed. At a farmstead, a well-built home was swept clean from its foundation, debris pulverized and scattered. The destruction was so complete that even the foundation was scoured, leaving little trace of the structure that once stood there. These are classic signs of EF5 intensity, requiring winds well over 200 miles per hour. Trees were stripped of bark, splintered, and the earth itself was gouged and flattened, painting a clear picture of the tornado's ferocity. The Enhanced Fujita Scale demands rigorous evidence, and the combination of ground-sweeping damage, debarked trees, and scoured earth met that standard. Only the most violent tornadoes can produce such unmistakable signs, and each piece of evidence was carefully documented. The upgrade from EF3 to EF5 wasn't quick. It took weeks of engineering and meteorological analysis. Teams meticulously measured debris patterns, wind indicators, and structural failures to ensure the rating was accurate. This process ensures tornadoes are rated by true wind force, not just initial impressions. It's a careful, scientific approach that helps improve our understanding of these rare and powerful storms. The Enderlin tornado's final rating is a testament to scientific rigor and the storm's unprecedented power. The evidence gathered will help refine future tornado assessments and improve public safety. It stands as a historic case study for future research, offering valuable insights into the most extreme forces of nature. The Enderlin EF5 brings to mind its predecessor, the 2013 Moore, Oklahoma tornado. That storm tore through a densely populated suburb, tracking 17 miles and reaching 1.3 miles wide. The human toll was devastating. 24 lives lost, including children, and billions in damage. Moore became a symbol of both vulnerability and resilience, prompting improvements in forecasting and building codes. The key difference: Enderlin's tornado hit farmland, Moore's hit a city. Population density shapes tornado tragedies as much as wind speed. The 12-year gap between these EF5s was the longest on record, but the threat never vanished. The lessons from Moore remain urgent as new storms emerge. EF5 tornadoes are the rarest of the rare. Less than 0.1% of all U.S. tornadoes reach this intensity. Only 60 have been confirmed since 1950. Their rarity comes from the precise, delicate mix of atmospheric ingredients required: a powerful supercell, extreme instability, and perfect wind shear. Even in Tornado Alley, most storms never reach EF5 strength. A slight change in conditions can mean the difference between a weak tornado and a monster. While most EF5s strike the plains or southeast, the North Dakota event shows these storms can happen almost anywhere when the recipe is right. Each EF5 is a reminder of how extraordinary and unpredictable nature can be. The 12-year EF5 drought puzzled scientists. Was it luck, climate change, or stricter rating standards? Some argued that tougher criteria under the Enhanced Fujita Scale meant fewer tornadoes qualified as EF5, even if the winds were there. Others studied climate patterns, wondering if shifts in the jet stream or moisture flow made EF5s less likely. Perhaps the right ingredients just didn't align as often. The Enderlin tornado may simply be a statistical anomaly, a reminder that weather is unpredictable. The drought's end doesn't settle the debate, but it adds vital data for future research. The quest to understand these storms continues, fueled by every new event. The potential for EF5s remains, and so does the need for scientific vigilance. The return of the EF5 is a wake-up call for everyone in tornado-prone regions. Personal preparedness saves lives. Knowing where to shelter is crucial. The Enderlin storm underscores the need for every family to have a severe weather plan and practice it. For scientists, each EF5 is a treasure trove of data, helping refine forecasts and warning systems. The destruction also sparks conversations about building codes, storm shelters, and community resilience. No home can withstand an EF5, but better construction can save lives at lower wind speeds. Investing in resilience before disaster strikes is key. The Enderlin tornado teaches us not to become complacent, no matter how long the quiet lasts. By studying and preparing, we can coexist more safely with nature's extremes. The silence is broken, and the lesson is clear. Respect the storm, and be ready.